Evening Flexcast, and I am trying to run all these screens because tonight Robert is tied up with our developers again. We have been so busy this week. I don't even know how to begin to describe how much work we've done. I feel like we haven't slept. And if we did sleep, it was just for a short period of time, and then we're back on with the developers. I mean, it's just, you guys, we're pulling so hard for you guys to give you the absolute best platform in the world. And when we started this, I don't know that we knew exactly what that meant. And all we knew is that we were prepared to pay the price, whatever it was, to bring this to market. And sometimes the price has been pretty high. I'll just be honest with you. It's definitely been a struggle at times, but watching the things that people are able to do with what we've created, the things that we're able to do with what we've created, has really made it so worthwhile. And so tonight, I just kind of want to have a conversation with you guys. I'm going to watch the chat. We're going to go through everything like normal. But I kind of wanted to touch on a few things that maybe we haven't, maybe you've encountered, but we haven't really talked about. I know we talk a lot about entrepreneurs. We talk a lot about real estate agents and things like that. But getting back to kind of where it started, like, who is RUBI for? Especially now with the way AI has just, I mean, it has just springboarded into the future. I mean, everybody's got an app now. Everybody's got a chat bot. But they're not all created equal, and they are most certainly not all RUBI. You guys can hear me all right? Right? Just let me know in the chat. I am going to jump into a couple of things, just a little bit of housekeeping. And let's see. I don't normally run the slides, so there we go. The good thing about doing this myself is I can keep my camera off and nobody can stop me. Anyway, I'm super glad to have you guys here tonight. Again, this is our Thursday night Flexcast. This is a place for you to bring anybody that's remotely interested in learning a little bit about RUBI. This is for you to get good in-depth training most Thursdays. And it's a good place for you to experience the whole culture that we've built. We spent an entire year building the culture of Flex and RUBI into what we wanted it to be, because we could have the most amazing product in the world, which I think we do. But if we don't have the right people, then it's just not going to go anywhere. The right people promoting it, the right culture inside of our community that's what keeps people. I mean, I've had people tell me that, you know what, I don't really want to do the business, but I'm going to stay here because I'm learning so much. And these people have become my friends and my family. And, I call that a success in my book. So the Flex connection, I need to upgrade this graphic. We've upgraded everything else except for this one. We are 5 members away from 1,000. 5. So we did go through and do a little bit of housekeeping. Some of the invitations that were in the Flex connection were like 3-4 months old. So if you invited someone to the Flex connection and they never responded, now's the time to follow up with those people and say, hey, did you ever get a chance to look at that group that I invited you to? Make sure that you answer the questions, which is, there's nothing complicated about it. It's a simple, hey, I agree to follow the rules of the community, and that's it. And they're in. So if you've sent out invites in the past, make sure you circle back for a little bit of corporate jargon. Circle back with those people and follow up and get them in there so that they can be exposed to that community that I was talking about and the learning environment of, because once you get in and see the things that people are creating and the way people are using Ruby, it really takes the scariness out of AI. So with that being said, also, I would like to mention, if you have technical issues or back office issues, it's totally okay to ask questions in the group, but I would like for you to keep those questions maybe in a direct message to me or to your upline. That way we're not cluttering up the main page with issues, because there's always going to be issues. It's technology, we're always, making deployments, and it's new. I'm not going to say all the excuses, but you know what I'm getting at. Just so direct message me on the main MyFlex AI page. Those messages come straight to me. I try to be very responsive to the messages. So if you've got any issues, just bring them to me or your upline. But for the most part, let's keep the Flex connection about learning and about helping each other build our businesses, sharing marketing strategies. I did see something in there the other day that I really, really liked, and I can't remember who asked the question, but they said, hey, does anybody have any college students using Ruby? Because I'd like to know how we're marketing to them, how we're talking to them, how to speak their language. And I thought that was great. That is what the Flex Connection is for, to help you build your business, to help you learn the ins and outs of Ruby. And it's a great resource. So I don't know that I have anything planned for the 1,000th member of the Flex Connection, but you never know. So send out those invites and let's get it up to 1,500. I mean, that should be easy, super easy. All right, moving along. So we did have to postpone our Monday update this week, just because it has been such an amazing week. He's going to kill me for saying this, but even Robert is in there writing code. It is all hands on deck right now, and we are really pulling hard. So this past Monday, we had to put off the Monday update, simply because we had so many irons in the fire. But next week should be back to normal, and we will have our Monday night update. This Saturday, there is no bio training, no brand influencer orientation. Remember, it's every other Saturday. So as of right now, it will be next Saturday, unless something changes or we decide something different. But if you are new to Flex or Ruby, or if you have somebody who is new, that is a must attend. I'm not going to say mandatory because you're your own boss, right? So it's not mandatory, but I highly recommend getting your first time brand influencers in here. And even if it's not your first time, I recommend showing up for the bio, because there's so much good information, and we're constantly updating our strategy, our tactics, our slide deck. I mean, I've got a file just so full of slides that none of you have even seen yet. So there's all kinds of stuff coming your way. And the brand influencer orientation is definitely a must do. So tonight, I'm going to try and slow down. I have a lot of time to fill. I've got some big shoes to fill. There's a reason I don't talk much on these calls. It's because Robert he's got so much to say. And he covers everything in a way that I don't know that I will ever be able to. But being the chief experience officer at Ruby, I feel like this is somebody has given me the pulpit and the mic, and it's my turn to kind of talk about the things that I know. So we're going to talk a little bit about, you know what, if you've got if you've got something that you would like to ask, go ahead and throw it in the chat, because I can watch the chat while I do this. I also put in a hashtag for the giveaway. I'm not going to do the huge giveaways that Robert does, but we'll do a few just to keep you on your toes. And you'll have to check the chat for that hashtag. I'm sure somebody else will repost it soon. Let's see. I am going to try and maneuver this. Let's see. All right. So one of the things, this is about, okay, when are the mini videos coming? So oh my goodness. I just got to see the sampler from okay, I shouldn't have said I was going to watch chat. I got to see the video, the reel from the production house that we're using for some of our video work, and it is phenomenal. It's gonna change a lot of what I'm doing, as far as like, graphic elements and stuff like that. Man, it was so good. I cannot wait to share those with you. What is the best training link for Canvas video, as I struggle to render videos? That would, I tell you what, this week, maybe not this week, but next week, it is on my calendar to go through all 365 hours of FlexCast and try to assign some tags to those videos so that you can kind of go sort through them easier to find the training material. Because every Saturday we do go over a different aspect of Ruby, and we do kind of an in-depth training. I say in-depth, it's usually about a 30-minute training on one feature or another. So I will go through the YouTube channel and clean that up and add some tags so that you guys can find those videos easier. We do have some guides in the Flex connection that some of our illustrious mods were so kind as to put up for me, because I couldn't find the time to do it. There are also a lot of people in the Flex connection that are totally willing to help. I wish I could say that I could be there for you all the time, but I just can't. But I'm going to do my best to get those videos labeled for you. Okay, so I know that we talk a lot about entrepreneurs and business owners and how they use Ruby. One of our biggest use cases is probably real estate, just because that covers so many different things. You're copywriting, you're doing graphics, you're making printed collateral, you're writing headlines, you're making listings that stand out. I mean, so there's a lot that you can use Canvas for or Ruby for. But I've spoken to this on, I think, 2 different podcasts now. So my wife and I, we've got 4 children, ages 7 to, gosh, my oldest will be 17 this month. And we've homeschooled all of them from, preschool on. And so using Ruby we use it a lot for our homeschool. And I think this is one of the use cases that I know that there's not a lot of people that, excuse me, are familiar with homeschooling. And so I thought maybe I'm not going to go super detailed into it, but for those of you that are out there talking to people and looking to relate with people that you talk to about how Ruby can impact their life, how Ruby can make their day-to-day life easier, you may come across a homeschooler and not know how to use it or not know how to speak that language. And so I just kind of want to shed a little bit of light on that, because the main thing is talking to people and being relatable and finding out what it is that Ruby would help them with. And so one of the areas that I feel like I'm most knowledgeable in, which is that's saying a lot. I spend, 14, 16 hours in front of my computer. And so my wife is doing all of the homeschooling, but I get every once in a while, I get to pick up the slack and um, come out of my cave, and I'm expected to have something ready for the kids. I get to do the fun stuff, science, art, music class. I set my drums up and I teach them music theory, things like that. All the extracurricular stuff. Uh, but sometimes I do have to, sometimes I do have to prepare something for them. So, as someone with not a lot of time, I was just going to kind of touch on how I would very quickly put together a lesson for my kids, again, age 7 through 16, with appropriate examples, appropriate activities. Um, you guys are killing me in the chat. I will try and come back and answer some of these questions after we're finished here. But I want to show you what I would do. So if I was put under the gun and my wife said, hey, I need you to teach science class today for all the kids because I have to go and meet my friends for coffee, which thankfully she never does. She never does that to me. But if she did, I'd be ready, right? Because I've got my RUBI. So one of the easiest ways to do this would be using one of the pre-built modules. Yes, face swap is coming back soon, very soon. It's actually sitting on our dev server, and I've been playing with it myself just to make sure that everything is working correctly and all the bugs are gone. And it is working great. I've done some pretty creative face swaps with Robert. Maybe I'll share those one day. So if I wanted to do a lesson plan for my kids, I would say we're going to learn about rocks today. So we're going to say geology. And I know that a lot of you have been around for a long time and you've seen a lot of this already done. But I just wanted to just do a very short recap on how I would do this as somebody that I may have 5 minutes to prepare something. And so I would go in and probably use a pre-built module first. And this would give me just a basic overview and a basic structure to teach geology. But that is a little more involved than what I want. So I'm going to create a 2-day lesson plan for students. 7, 12, 14, 16 with so create a 2-day lesson plan for students ages 7, 12, 14, 16 with appropriate activities using household supplies. Super easy. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just going into this just asking for the world, and RUBI's going to give it to me. Now, you also can use this in one of the other chat language models. You can use the GPT-4o Mini, which is free, unlimited. It's not going to count against your words. Gemini Pro also, Claude Instant. And you're going to get about the same sort of responses. But I do like Claude 3.5 because it does seem to go deeper, and it gives me what I want. But you can experiment and find the one that works best for you. So, okay. So I've got my 2-day geology lesson plan for mixed age groups. So it's going to break it down by the age group for me and give me some activities to do. And if I decide that this activity is not really hands-on enough, I can go in and have it it'll rewrite the lesson plan with an update just to that one section. If I go and change language models, so I think the cool thing about IntelliChat, and if you don't know me by now, IntelliChat is absolutely my favorite part of RUBI. It's like all these other language models are listening through the wall while you're having a conversation, and then you can pull them into the conversation and they already know everything that you've already talked about. You don't have to go back and retype your question. You don't have to go back and say, hey, here's what we're talking about. And that's really what sets IntelliChat apart, is that having them all in the same conversation. And so I can do that. I can completely tailor this for my homeschool. If you are, I'm not going to go too much more detail into that because I kind of want to talk about it more than anything. If you are familiar with homeschool, there are a lot of different curriculums, and homeschool is it's personal to homeschoolers, the way that they teach, the methodologies that they use, and there's a lot of different ones out there. Back when I was, homeschool age, you really only had one option, and it was like Abeka or something like that. But now they have so many different options, and really, you can use IntelliChat to tailor it to any of those homeschool methodologies. You can tailor it to your children's learning style. If you have children with learning disabilities, you can tailor it for that. If you've got a college student, you can have any of the responses that you get from IntelliChat, you can have it respond in whatever learning style suits your child. And so that, I think, is probably one of the most powerful things about IntelliChat is I'm not an educator. I like to think that I'm okay smart, but there's a lot that I don't know. There's a lot that I don't know that I don't know. And so with RUBI, I'm still able, I feel like I'm still able to provide, the learning experience that my children deserve, not based on just the things that I know or don't know, because having IntelliChat and RUBI is like having a tutor for every grade level at your fingertips. And so during the pandemic, it's estimated that homeschoolers that I had these stats the other day and I can't remember what they are. It basically quadrupled during the pandemic. And a lot of people had a lot of trouble with that. I'm not a teacher, that's why I send my kids to school, because I don't have these abilities. But now with IntelliChat and RUBI and just AI in general, you're able to provide that education at any level that your kids deserve, with any learning style, with any teaching style. I mean, that's absolutely huge in today's world. And so if you're out there and you find yourself talking to a homeschooler, you don't have to know the language. You don't have to know the ins and outs. You don't have to know what unschooling is. Ooh, that's a bad word. But there's all these different learning styles out there. But all you have to know is RUBI is like having a tutor for every age group, for any learning style, for any teaching style. If it has been documented on the interwebs, on the internet, I use the interwebs with my kids. They think it's cringy, so I've gotten in the habit of saying interwebs. If it has been documented on the internet, odds are you're going to find it in Ruby. It's like the world's largest bookshelf. And so that is how we use it. That's one of the ways that we use Ruby in our family. And another way that we have used Ruby just in our home environment. My daughters are both avid readers and they are also writers. They've both written, I think they're both on their third book. And they use Image Lab they enter the descriptions of their characters and they find one that they like so that it brings the character more to life to them. And so then they're able to take those and draw them out. They're both fantastic artists as well. So they take those images from Virtual Studio and they create their own artwork for their books. So, people say that using AI is cheating your creativity, but I would argue against that all day long, because having them being able to go to, first of all, a safe place to do research and to do image prompting. I would never turn my kids loose in a place like Midjourney, like in the Discord channels. It's not a place for kids. Not that Midjourney is bad. Some of the other models they're a little bit out there, so be careful with those. But we do have a lot of safeguards in place inside of Ruby to keep those things from happening. But when they go into Image Lab, they're not bombarded with everybody else's creativity. They're not comparing their artwork to everybody else's that's in the Discord channel. They get to go in and they get to go and be as creative as they want to be. And then they can take that and they can go back to their sketch pads and just create to their heart's content. Now, the other thing I will say, going back to IntelliChat and the homeschooling, is it is a much safer place to research than turning them loose on Google. And again, there are a lot of safeguards in place with the different language models. But if you wanted to know about the life cycle of crickets, you just never know what's going to turn up on Google. I mean, for something as innocuous as the life cycle of crickets. I mean, Google and the internet is just not a safe place for research for children anymore. And so that's another thing I really love about Ruby is I feel totally safe letting them go in and ask questions and explore topics just as much as they want to. And I really feel like that it doesn't do anything to dampen their creativity. If nothing else, it makes them ask more questions. And so that's kind of a big deal to me. It always has been. And the last and final thing that I will, and I'm going to quit bragging about my kids. They started, and my wife started a business doing print-on-demand blankets. And they built out their website with IntelliChat. They got their outline for their website. They got the content that they wanted to use. They were able to, go through and create a persona to to make their voice their own. And they have now started their business. And I'm not going to plug it here because that would be unfair. That would be cross promotion. I'm not going to do that. But they have a camping business. It's camping blankets and breadboards and cups and mugs and all personalized stuff. But what they're doing is they're taking these national park pictures and recreating them inside of Ruby and then having them print on demand. And they learned how to put people's name on them and stuff like that. But they learned this and they got the idea just from these different creative steps. And so I'm not telling you to go out there and try and, start something else. Focus on your Flex business. But I'm telling you, be creative. Be creative in how you use Ruby. When you're talking to people and they may have the weirdest business you've ever heard of in your entire life, but I guarantee you, Ruby can help them market it. I guarantee you, Ruby can write a marketing plan for a homemade Play-Doh company, if that's what they want to do. I mean, Ruby is not hindered by anybody's good or bad ideas. So as you're getting out there and you're talking to people, always be open and make sure you're not, and this is important, make sure you're not just waiting for an opportunity to tell them what Ruby can do. Make sure that you're listening, you're really connecting with these people, because you may find yourself talking to somebody that their biggest pain point is something that you have no clue about. But if you keep listening, I guarantee you will be able to find a way to pinpoint a pain point that Ruby will be able to help them with. So I don't know that this is going to be super long tonight, but I did want to talk about some of the more obscure things that maybe you guys have run across in talking to people, because there's a lot more homeschoolers out there now than there were 10 years ago. And odds are, if they're homeschooling, they're probably looking for another stream of income or something like that. Because I know a lot of people in our homeschool circle, they have side businesses, they have side gigs. In fact, one of my friends, I think he has 10 businesses. I mean, the guy's just crazy. He has a limo service. He has a DJ business, a photo booth business, mobile brake repair. And so, I talked to him and I said, hey, Ruby can help you with not just one of your businesses, but all of them. And it can, in the time it would take you to write 10 business plans, 10 marketing plans, 10 social media strategies, and all of these things, that would take you months for 10 businesses. But right now, he can go in there and he can use Ruby and knock these things out faster than he can do a mobile brake job. And so my point is, guys, you never know who you're going to end up talking to out there. But Ruby really is, going back to the very beginning, when we first started talking about this, we said, who is Ruby for? And, we really honed in on like four key areas. But the answer to that is it's for everybody. And I know that a lot of people right now are using chat bots that they've created. They're using all these things, and that's great. AI is becoming more commonplace, but there's nowhere else that you're going to find it all packaged together and working together seamlessly like you're going to find in Ruby. You're not going to find it, especially for the value. It's just, I don't think that it exists. Hey, there's me. I'm going to put that back up. I don't have to be on camera. Robert's not here. So I just wanted to, just kind of take some time to talk about some stuff that maybe we hadn't covered before, and just kind of take it easy, because I feel like when Robert does the FlexCast, there's just so much information, and I can't do all that, but I can talk to you about what I know about. And that is the experience of Ruby, that is the community of Flex, and that is talking to people and finding pain points. That's really all this is about. We have the best tool. It's, years ago they made this socket, and it was supposed to be this socket that would fit any size nut, and it had all these little pins in it, sort of like the when you little boards that you put your hand on, you can see your hand in the pins on the other side. And it seemed like such a great idea. And I have one, it's in my toolbox. I've used it twice. It's just not, it doesn't do anything well. It might work, a little bit here and there, but it just doesn't do everything well like it was advertised. And so when we put all of this together, the main focus was putting it together so that it all worked together. And that is the main focus of RUBI, is to get all of these things, all of the best mid-journey. I mean, ChatGPT, all of the language models, Claude, Anthropic, Gemini, everything, all of it together with the video editing, the audio editing, the voices, the voice lab, put all of it together in a package that works. And that has been the challenge. That was the gauntlet that we threw down. That was the challenge that we accepted, was to make a tool that did all of the things well. And that's what you'll see in Canvas Plus. Everything is there. You can use it all together at the same time. You don't have to have multiple subscriptions. You don't have to leave this program, go into another. Yes, we're still getting perplexity. You don't have to leave and go out and save and then open it over here, which as a designer, that has been my life. I've had to use Photoshop and then leave and then go into Illustrator to do other things and then leave and then go and put it in Keynote. There was never something that put it all together like we have. And so if anybody wants that socket that I have, you can have it, because it doesn't do all the things well. I know that may not make sense to those of you that don't have a lot of tools or any background in mechanicking, but all that you need to know is we put everything together as seamlessly as possible. And you'll notice our tagline, you'll start to see us using it more, as approachable intelligence that works. We've taken the scary out of AI and we've made it into something that you can use, anyone can use, and we've made it work. Are there still bugs? There's still bugs. We're still working. Guys, we don't stop working. And I promise you, this is going to be, the next iteration of RUBI is going to be absolutely the best. Absolutely the best. All right, I'm going to look through these questions real fast. Or music, or voice, or personify. All in one tools. Yep. Yeah, Emmanuel, that is too true. There are a lot of image creation tools out there. There's just a lot of tools out there, but they don't, and a lot of them do one thing well. But we didn't want to be one of the one button push companies. Like we researched a lot. You crushed this. Thanks, Heidi. No need to try the rest when you found the best. I love it, Larry. So yeah, there's a lot of good stuff. I really appreciate the comments here. I love that you guys are so loyal to RUBI. I don't think I'm going to go through any of these. You guys know, you know what sets us apart. I'm going to stay away from a lot of this because we've done this. I will tell you though that with the new slide deck that's in the Google Drive, it has been pared down significantly because we don't want you guys out there trying to explain everything that RUBI does. There's just a handful of things that you need to know, like our established market superiority. We have several patent pending processes inside of RUBI. I mean, and that's big, guys. Patent pending is kind of a big deal. And so we, with IntelliChat and Personify, just those two alone, they are so powerful, and they can do wonders for your business. But you'll notice if you download this, You can add to it if you want to, but we've really pared it down so that it's really simple. And you can go through this in 5 minutes. IntelliChat, collaborative AI conversations. It's like having all of them in the same chat at the same time. And that's really all you need to know. You don't have to go out of one program and into another. Anthropic knows what you talk to ChatGPT about, and you can ask, personify, you speak their language every time. You tailor your marketing materials to the audience that you're talking to. It's as simple as that. And you can create these personas with specific pain points. I mean, guys, you could go through this as fast as you wanted to. And I'm trying to go a little bit fast because I know we've been through this a number of times. You guys should be having your own Zoom calls and meetings and home meetings. Invite them over for brisket. Nobody can turn down brisket. Talk to them about RUBI over some brisket. Talk about Virtual Studio, all the things you could do in there. Okay, so here is a place where you can do a little bit of name dropping with the Midjourney, Leonardo, DALL-E, and Stable Diffusion, because not a lot of places have Midjourney, and that's kind of a big selling point. I'll be right over. There's no brisket cooking tonight. We had stew. It's false fall here in Texas. It went down to, I think, about 80 today, so everybody's making stew and soup, waiting for summer 3 to come. You know what? I'm not going to go through all of these. You guys have seen a lot of this stuff before. I want to encourage you to go through and grab these new slides and get familiar with them. There's a lot of little details in these slides, like this Fairly Trained Certified. They're great talking points. You don't have to know what it is other than it's trained on music theory. We're not ripping off other artists. We're not playing that game. That is not how RUBI was built. We have not. There are some platforms out there that have done that in the past, and we don't use them. If it's not ethical AI, we don't use it. And then in Canvas Plus, your all-in-one creative powerhouse. I mean, you guys can go through this in 5 minutes with someone, and I guarantee you can find something that will speak their language, some pain point that you can use to talk to them about how RUBI can affect their life. And then once you get into it, we say on the Flex side, we say live without limits. We really do have the absolute best vehicle on the market right now for building up residual income through the Flex opportunity. And you're not going to find a better product to sell. You're not going to find that in any greens. You're not going to find that in any energy drink. This is the absolute best vehicle right now. The most relevant vehicle in the world is AI right now to create the income that you need, whether it's $500 a month extra to combat the rising price of groceries and gas, or if it's $20,000 a month to live how you've always wanted to. You have the vehicle to do that through the Flex opportunity. And so I think I'm going to stop there. I feel like I've kind of rambled a bit. Do you guys have any questions for me? I would rather have had this be a little more conversational, but I'm here by myself. Nobody can talk to me. We are in fall already, though. Yes, it is fall, but here in Texas we call it false fall. It's not really fall. Not until late October. I remember so many years sweating on Halloween. Yes, we're still getting Perplexity. Yeah, our dev server is completely chock full of good stuff ready to go.